Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Harakah Kadash. The one of the apostles and elders went millstone that rule well, and Shalom to all the brothers doing the work of serving truth, pushing his word to four corners. Shalom. Yeah, this is I was just meditating because at camp was being reasoned on about the flesh, and essentially how we're in a spiritual war, where you know wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in higher places. And yeah, with the our enemy is utilizing the pinnacle of the left hand side, man, the apex, all uh capabilities that are afforded, through those means, utilizing spiritual matters, to basically bring, destroy, if it were possible, the elect. But then that's, with us, we basically have in our corner, Yahweh Bashem, Yahshua Bashem, Harakah Kadash. So it's as long as you're of that number of the elect, it's a physical impossibility to lose. But then as far as for how we are here, when what the chains of darkness, uh, let's read this. Jude 1 and 5. It says, "I will therefore put you in remembrance, though you once knew this, how that the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterwards destroyed them that believe not." And yeah, you have Egypt, which is harkened back to, and this is Jude. It's like the final chapter before Revelation, and even in that, you still have Egypt, the captivity in Egypt, and the freedom from there being hearkened to, because it's key. It's formative and essential understanding. It's like a key deliverance to kind of look back to and have lessons from. And one of the key ones is that, yeah, out of those that actually left um the land, it was what oh Joshua and Caleb were the only ones that made it through the wandering, to actually go from Egypt to then see the land. And then what was it? So that was a whole generation that died off, and that's something that lets you know that even amongst those to be saved, there was those accounted unworthy. And then when that's why you have it written that it's you're gonna have it will no longer be written, well, be said, "Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of Egypt. The Lord liveth that brought up the children of Egypt from the land of the north." Because this is going to be a different deliverance to look to, that will basically be referenced to in the same stead that the Egypt is referenced to. And then a big aspect of that is Israel being perfected, because why? It says, verse 6, "And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness, unto the judgment of the great day." And yeah, they're basically taken from, the angelic form, and then, bound in the flesh. And then that flesh is referred to as chains of darkness, because why? It's so terrifying and overpowering that, even angels which perfectly follow orders, and then what, bound into, obedience of legendary levels, to where you have, some of the most revered, some of the most respected, men, where they'll still have, sins on them. And it's really, and really everyone has sins, other than Yahweh Shai, when he came as Yahweh Shai, everyone has sins on them. And then those require what? Payment. And then that's what we'll go into a bit further down, in 1 Corinthians 15, the wages of sin is death. So that, that flesh is doing, super heroic, legendary work upon the spirit, to which it's just bound in subjection to it, which require, and that's the biggest aspect of the first covenant, the first deal that was made between Israel and the Most High, where there was a need for another, because that flesh was always gonna have the dominion, regardless. That's just the nature of how these things are. But then, the flesh having dominion was, there was an express purpose to it. Is it 9? Yeah, okay. So Romans 9, start from 13, it says, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. And yeah, that's kind of the key of it, is as far as with the Most High, he can love one and hate the other, which then is that's partiality. And that's something that, in the current world, everyone's been intoxicated with the idea of like equality, like, being impartial. No one gets favoritism, despite the fact that, some can be taller, some can be born with, easier to amass muscle mass. Someone can be more handsome, less handsome, smarter, stronger, faster. All there's partiality in all kinds of ways. And and the pinnacle of that is what, Jacob is favored and Esau isn't. And that's what, what all this is about, really. Because in the end, what's Esau's basically trying to take that spot of that favored spot, and Israel will retain it as it was promised from the beginning, from before the worlds were made, man. It says, what shall we say then? Is that unrighteousness with the Most High? The Most High forbid. And yeah, Esau would. That's really a rebellion against that to this day. Esau's rebelling against that ways. He's not favored. And then, he sees it as unrighteousness. So he's basically gone about and established his own righteousness. Yeah, there is. Sirach 3 and 24, it says, for many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. And that's the core of all that, the elite of Esau are trying to achieve. They're trying to establish their own vain opinion. They're trying to go against the Most High, but then are fulfilling, every prophecy in trying to do so. Because why, that was, that's his nature, and that was the role he's put on there for, man. Put on earth for. Was it Proverbs 16 and 4? So it says, Romans 9:15, for he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of the Most High that showeth mercy. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh. And yeah, it really comes down to that. It's who's the Most High going to show mercy on. Because as far as for, if Israel going to be destroyed, there's a whole volume legendary volumes of justifications, for Israel to be destroyed. But then, as it's going to go into, it's about the mercy. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of the Most High that showeth mercy. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for the same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Therefore hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will he hardeneth. And yeah, because from the beginning, mercy was decided to be had on Israel, and for Esau the inverse, the opposite, that lack of mercy. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? Neighbor or man, or what art thou that repliest against the Most High? And yeah, you could say, well, you made me do it. It was, I was coded to do that. That's my purpose. But then even with you fulfilling that purpose, there's still a judgment. And again, there's what, Most High said, what, he was a little displeased, but you forwarded the affliction. And that's also in your nature, to forward the affliction. You couldn't even fulfill what you're meant to fulfill. And that same rebellion, you have it in Cain. Because what's Cain do? His his offering was lacking. But then what did he feel? He had the hatred for Abel to the point that he slew him. So why should you dash, just annihilated him? And said, like, why is it that yours was acceptable, but mine wasn't? He was upset. But then what? He should have looked to, his own actions. But then instead he's like, look, nah. And that's the same thing with Esau. Is like, oh, wait, these guys got mercy for doing this wickedness. Why ain't I getting a mercy? But then even then, it's like, what have you strived for? You've been rebellious from the beginning. Cain was rebellious as fuck. Esau was rebellious as fuck. Despised his birthright. So the way they get dealt with in the end, it shouldn't be a surprise. But then with Israel, it's striving. Was it in 10? Yeah, 10 and 2. Romans 10 and 2. It says, for I bear them record, that they have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge. So yeah, they have a zeal. They strive to an extent to be righteous. But then the means, it's the pathway that they climb up. And then you have those that are just wicked as well. But then that's why you have the elect. That's why you have, that line being drawn between those that, the Israel, the Most High. And then, 2/3. Romans 9. And 19. So it says, thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? Neighbor or man, who art thou that repliest against the Most High? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? And yeah, it's just like, you'll. And the thing is Esau apply that on his own shit. But then that's why he doesn't want there to be a Most High, man. He would rather himself be able to be like, well, I can just be, the author of my own destiny. But even that fault is tied to the role that was given to you by the Most High. That rebellious mindset to think you're striving, you're walking your own path is it's not true, and it's to catch you in the same, the snare where you need to be. You basically trying to become, and the thing is you're trying to become like the Most High, and you're aware that he's there. The elites are, at least anyway. Have not the pot of power over the clay, of the same lump, to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? What if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? And this society is that that long suffering, that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy which he had afore prepared unto glory. And yeah, and that mercy is that second covenant. Yahushua basically being sent to give that path to which what? Then we can, get the victory over the chains of darkness. 1 Corinthians 15:50, it says, "Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of the Most High, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption." And yeah, the flesh and blood is been the core to the issue of Israel's relationship with the Most High and capability to fulfill their end with the promises. It says, "Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed." And yeah, we're all going to be changed, because it'll be the elect first, but then even the 2/3, even those that don't make it, they're going to come back as the children, and be in that perfected state, incorruptible, because that's necessary and essential, man. It's like, as far as that time span of corruptible Israel now is the last gasp of those moments. And then it's even within that, it's clear as to why examples being made that you can look at, where you have those that even the knowledge of being an Israelite isn't enough to then just bind you to to this truth, to trying to strive for the path that's been opened up for Yahushua. Even then, it's like, aware of Yahushua, but then don't want to use his name, don't want to respect him, want to exalt themselves, and then think just being an Israelite is enough, being like, "Oh, I'm the son of Abraham." Meanwhile, that's been not enough going back, but then it's that same fallibility, that same flesh holding them in subjection. We shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. And yeah, even the mortality is tied to what? Sin. Because man wasn't meant to die. Which is crazy still, because like now, especially with Esau's mindset, everything is revolved around, obsessed with death. But it's because for him, it's like the way he views death as well. It's like, oh, you're just gonna die, and then you just just cease to be, just disintegrate into a void of nothingness. And also that that void of nothingness, there's no judgment beyond it. Which as far as for how Esau conducts himself and lives, he would like that. When you're terror onto the world, you'd be like, damn. I'm glad I ain't gonna pay for none of that shit. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, "Death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory?" Yeah. And death is the key thing that was brought by that flesh. Because the sin, that's the sins weighing you down, man, to where you need to die. And it's explicitly clear in this modern age as well, because it's mentioned live to like 70, and by reason of strength 80. But then, you have people able to, sustain themselves for longer period of times. But then, what do they have? All kinds of ailments in their body. And then even outside of those few outliers that, living into the hundreds, etc., you have people getting all kinds of bodily ailments, come from diet, lifestyle, etc. Illness, sickness, etc. is normalized now. It's expected to, you go to the GP, but oh, I have this issue, oh, my knees fucked up, or my back's fucked up, my hips fucked up, my lungs fucked up, my, back of my throat, nose. It's it's not living in, in strength. And then you see a lot of these fucking 100 and somethings, their mentals disintegrating, man. They're not. It's not like they're 100 and then you're gonna play them at chess and they're gonna be doing masterful moves, or you're gonna see ask them like okay about intricate questions and get answer. A lot of them are worn down, man. That flesh is knackered. Because why? It's they're not. Well, they're still weighed down by sin. But yeah, in the kingdom, it's not going to be that. It's going to be in in the full strength. And that's beautiful as well. It's something that even for now is like to meditate on it is it's insane, man. Because the flesh we have now is quite literally you being at a normal being at your full capacity is a rarity. Like you could even when you're exercising to maintain yourself, you can catch an injury there. You might someone you might have to take the tube or something, and some motherfucker on there is like and you catch something, could bump you bump your fucking toe on some shit. And then you just go, oh shit, that toe, you might take fucking weeks for that to heal. The flesh is toast. But then, the flesh we're gonna go into, that extraterrestrial, is gonna be beyond. To where it's like, such thoughts and considerations aren't even gonna, that's gonna be a memory you kind of bring up, be like, yo, remember when, men used to they used to wake up, you might get a fucking headache or some shit, you get all kind like, damn. It's like you might just fucking, bust, break your wrist or some shit. You fall over funny, and then your leg, your ankle your ankle stops working properly, man. It's a fucking mess. But yeah, that's what, that's why those things are needed. That's how Israel's meant to be. O death, verse 55. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. But thanks be to the Most High, which giveth us victory through our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach. And yeah, it's through Yahushua, through him coming in the same flesh, bound by all the same, weaknesses, terrors, destruction of the flesh that we deal with now, the same demons. Yahushua overcame them, and didn't sin once, which that's only Yahushua could fulfill that. And that was necessary to what? For that path to be laid open, man. And it's beautiful that we get to, share and partake. This is what, therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast and unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord Yahweh, or the work of the Lord, for so much as ye know your labor is not in vain in the Lord. And yeah, we're basically, investing, putting everything down on this work, on this truth, on the reward we're going to receive. But you had the disciples ask, like, yo, we've forsaken all, what are we going to get? It was, being on the 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes. And, we're joint heirs, we're looking to partake in that as well. And it's, all we can hope. Get them new bodies, get raised up, no longer have to deal with sin, no longer have to deal with, being bugged out, all the weaknesses of the flesh. That's a beautiful thing. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom, shalom.